Like most nights, I found Derek kicked back in his favorite recliner, beer in hand, glued to a baseball game playing on the big screen. After dinner, Lori had gone upstairs. Whatever she was doing up there, he didn't ask and honestly didn't care. To him, it was just another quiet evening at home, nothing out of the ordinary. But around 10 to 7, the doorbell rang. Before Derek could peel himself out of the chair, Lori called down from upstairs. "Derek, can you get the door?" she yelled. "Yeah, I was already heading that way," he muttered, getting up. He made his way to the front door and opened it to find a sharp-looking guy he'd never seen before. "Can I help you?" Derek asked, a little confused. "You're not here selling something, are you?" "Nope," the man replied calmly. "I'm here to pick up Lori." "For what?" Derek shot back, brows pulling together. "We've got a date." Derek's eyes just about popped out of his head. "You have a date with my wife, Lori?" "That's right," the man said, cool as can be. Derek stood there for a second, trying to make sense of what he'd just heard. "All right. I'll call her," he said, then turned and shouted up the stairs. "Lori, your fiancé is here." He expected her to deny it, or at least act surprised, something like, "What date?" or "That's not what it looks like." But instead, she just called back, "Tell him I'll be right down." Derek stayed frozen by the door, still trying to wrap his head around what was happening. When Lori finally came downstairs, she was dressed to kill, short evening dress, deep neckline, makeup layered on thick. Derek blinked, then asked, "Mind telling me what in the hell this is?" "I'm going on a date," she answered like it was nothing. "Married women don't go on dates with other men," he snapped. "I'm leaving," she said flatly. "I'm tired of sitting around watching you down beer while flipping between curling and whatever other thrilling sport happens to be on. The highlight of my night is a burp or a fart and you don't even bother to say excuse me anymore," she added. "When's the last time we did something that didn't feel like a rerun? If you're not gonna give me attention or shake things up once in a while, I'll find someone who will," she said, poking her finger into his chest. "And don't bother waiting up. If things go well, I might not even come back tonight." With that, she stormed out and slammed the door behind her. Lori climbed into the car waiting for her and told the driver to go. Once they were a few blocks away, the guy pulled over and they both broke out laughing. "I wish I had a picture of his face," Lori giggled. "It was perfect. If that doesn't light a fire under his ass, nothing will." The man glanced over. "You don't think this might piss him off even more?" "Doubt it," she said. "He's probably still standing there trying to figure out what just happened. I'll be back before he really flips out. I don't think he'd jump to divorce that fast. And if he does, well, I'm ready to roll the dice." "Maybe I shouldn't have thrown in that line about staying out all night," she muttered. "Too late now. Honestly, with how things have been lately, I'd rather take my chances with a divorce than keep living like this. I love that idiot more than anything, but damn. I just wish he gave a damn about us." She sighed. "All right, drive around the block, we'll head back and check in." After a few turns around the neighborhood, they pulled back into the driveway. Lori was hoping Derek would come storming out, but nothing. She went inside, the TV was still on, but the living room was empty. She looked around downstairs, then rushed upstairs. Still no sign of him. She grabbed her phone and called his number. From the bedroom, she heard the ringtone. She rushed in and found his phone sitting on the nightstand, right beside his wedding ring. Her eyes darted around. A few of his things were missing. "Oh, damn," she whispered. She ran downstairs and told her date what she just found and checked the garage. His car was gone. "Where do you think he went?" the man asked. "He probably hit a bar to drink it off. Worst case, maybe he crashed at a motel," she guessed. "I can picture him pouting like a kid. He's gonna be furious when he comes back and finds out it was all a stunt," she said with a shrug. "Still, maybe it's for the best. If he feels guilty, good. Maybe that'll finally get him to step up. I don't mind letting him stew a bit." But Derek didn't come back that night. And he didn't call the next morning either. By midday, Lori couldn't take it anymore. She called his office before lunch. "Janet, can you connect me with Derek?" "That's not gonna work, Lori." "What the hell happened?" "He stumbled in this morning and told me to shut up and just listen. Said he's taking the day off to deal with personal stuff. Then he asked who handles our company insurance. I told him to talk to the girl in HR. He seemed satisfied with that and walked out. No thanks, nothing. That's not like him. Did someone close to him pass away?" "No," Lori said quietly. "Something happened, but it was my doing. I pulled a little stunt and it didn't go the way I planned. I just need to talk to him and smooth things over. Can you transfer me to that girl in HR?" "Sure thing." "HR, this is Rita. I need to speak with Heather. She's busy training someone right now. Is there anything I can help you with? Can you tell me if Derek Whitmore did anything in HR today?" I'd have to check his file, but I need his permission before I can tell you anything. I'm his wife, Lori said. Can't you give me something? I can check what your coverage looks like under his insurance plan. Give me a second, the woman from HR said. After a moment, she added, funny enough, we were planning to reach out to you today anyway. You'll be getting a formal letter in the mail saying you're no longer covered under your husband's health insurance. If you want to keep your coverage going, you can, but only for 6 months, and you'll have to pay off the remaining balance yourself. That's the only thing he changed on his end. Lori's face went pale as she quietly said, thanks, then ended the call. She sat there for a moment, stunned. Why would Derek take me off his insurance? And then it clicked. She rushed over to the computer and logged into their shared bank accounts. Half the money was missing from both checking and savings. Oh no! He's divorcing me, she muttered, panic settling in. Frozen and unsure of her next move, Lori was snapped out of her thoughts by her phone ringing. It was Frank, their life insurance agent and an old family friend. She picked up. This is Lori. Lori, it's Frank. Can you please tell me what the hell is going on? Derek came in earlier, canceled your automatic life insurance payments, and switched the beneficiary to the girls. You're not entitled to a cent, Frank said bluntly. He also set up a new bank account to cover the life insurance withdrawals going forward. He made it very clear that this is what he wants. I'll have to send you a formal notice confirming the change of beneficiary and the cancellation of your payments. I'm sorry, but I take it you two are separating? Yes, Lori replied softly. Thanks for letting me know. I can't really say much else right now. But you haven't really explained anything, Frank said gently. I know, she whispered, then ended the call. Not even 2 minutes passed before the next call came in. It was Roger, their attorney, neighbor, and longtime friend. Hello, it's Lori. Lori, it's Roger. What on earth is going on? Derek came by and completely rewrote his will. Now everything goes to the kids, nothing to you. He also took you off the list as his medical proxy. He wouldn't tell me why, just said he didn't care if you found out or not. Then he asked for the name of a good family lawyer, Roger added. I'm guessing you two are in serious trouble. Are you planning to divorce? Listen, if you two make up, I can undo everything. But I've gotta say, Cynthia and I are really sorry to hear this. I have to run now, but I wish you both the best. Okay, Lori replied, barely above a whisper. And then her phone rang again, this time it was their twin daughters away at college. Mom, what the hell is happening? One of them asked. Dad just called us, the other added. He said we betrayed you. He told us you're seeing and sleeping with other men. And then he said he won't be talking to us for a while, said he wants you to feel free to keep dating until the divorce goes through. He also said he already took care of our college tuition. We tried to ask him what's going on, but he just ignored us. All he said before hanging up was that he loves us. Mom, we're scared. What if Dad does something drastic? Lori's voice broke. I'm the one who pushed him to this. I'm trying to find him and say I'm sorry, but he's vanished. Maybe we can try to reach him. Hold on, I'm getting another call. It might be him. Lori quickly answered. Derek? No. It's your mother-in-law, Elaine, came the stern voice on the other end. What in God's name is going on, Lori? My son called me sobbing like a child. Said something about you being with a bunch of men at some nightclub. I don't know how true it is, he sounded drunk, but he was clearly crushed. He said he's going to fix everything by giving you your freedom. And the worst part? Elaine added, her voice cracking. He thanked us for raising him with values. Then he apologized for turning his back on everything we taught him. And then he said goodbye. He hung up before we could ask anything else. We've been calling him ever since and he won't answer. Lori, I'm scared he might do something awful. What happened between you two? I wanted to jolt him out of the slump he's been in, Lori said. I thought if I did something a little crazy, it might shake him out of it. I faked going on a date with another man, just a dumb 10-minute stunt. But when I came back, he was already gone. And today, I found out about all these changes. It looks like he's getting ready to divorce me. I'm trying to reach him before he does something we can't take back, but he's vanished. So now my son might hurt himself, and that's on you, Elaine snapped. If anything happens to Derek, I swear I'll hold you personally responsible. The line went dead. Lori sat in stunned silence, her thoughts spinning. She called every hotel and motel in town. Derek wasn't checked into any of them. Finally, she called the police, hoping to file a missing persons report. She told them she feared Derek might try to take his own life. But the officer told her she'd have to wait another 24 hours before they could do anything. Feeling completely drained, Lori took a sleeping pill and crawled into bed. The thought crossed her mind, if Derek really did end his life, she didn't want to go on either. Fortunately, she remembered the code to the safe where Derek kept his handgun and ammo and locked it away. The next morning, groggy and heavy-headed, Lori flipped on the local news. What she saw made her heart skip a beat. The anchor was doing a live report from the scene of an accident. "This is Troy Daniels reporting live for TV2 News," the reporter said as the camera zoomed in on him. "Looks like Binder's Curve has claimed another victim, or possibly more than one, late last night. We're joined now by Sergeant Nolan of the State Police. Sergeant, can you walk us through what happened here?" "It appears a vehicle went over the edge of the cliff," Nolan explained. "You can see right there, it managed to bypass the reinforced section of the guardrail. Either the driver was unbelievably unlucky or they meant to go over." "What do we know so far?" Troy asked. "Well," Nolan began, "with no skid marks and no sign of braking, we're considering a few possibilities. Maybe the driver passed out, was under the influence, or it could have been intentional." "How did you even know a crash happened?" Troy followed up. "A driver coming from the opposite direction called it in. He's here now." The camera shifted to a young man standing nearby. Troy walked over. "Young man, what's your name?" "I'm Jake Griffin," the guy grinned. "Am I on TV?" "Hi, Mom." He waved at the camera, all smiles. "Jake, can you tell us what you saw last night?" "I was heading home, just driving along, when I spotted this big red truck coming straight at me. It swerved a bit, crossed into my lane, so I slammed on the brakes," he said. "Next thing I know, it jerks to the right, smacks the guardrail, and flies off the edge." "Can you describe the truck?" Troy asked. "Yeah, it was a red Ford F-150. Looked like a 2018. It had some kind of Western Pennsylvania hilltop decal on the back window." "Did you catch a look at the driver?" "Not really. The headlights were on, so I could barely see. It looked like a man, though. Didn't seem like anyone else was in the truck." "That's all I've got," Jake said, shrugging. "Thank you," Troy nodded, turning back to Sergeant Nolan. "Sergeant, has any recovery crew been called to search for the vehicle?" "We don't know exactly what broke through that guardrail," Nolan said. "We're assuming it was a truck based on Jake's account. From up here, it's impossible to confirm anything. Our mountain rescue unit is tied up with a separate operation on the other side of the state right now. I don't know when they'll be able to come out here and investigate. But what if someone's down there alive and needs help?" Troy pressed. "Then it'd be nothing short of a miracle," Nolan replied. "No ordinary person would survive that fall. It's all jagged rocks down there. And I'm not about to risk more lives sending untrained folks down just to confirm what we probably already know. We'll have to wait for the rescue team." Lori didn't need anyone to confirm a thing. The moment she heard red Ford F-150 with a decal, she broke down. The phone started ringing, but she ignored it. She sat on the couch, crying nonstop for over 3 hours. Eventually, the twins showed up, having raced home after their calls went unanswered. Their grandmother had told them about the truck crash she saw on the news. Even without a body, they were almost sure it had to be their dad. One of the girls picked up the ringing phone and handed it to Lori. The caller ID said it was from a law firm. "Hello, this is Lori Whitmore," she managed to say, barely holding back sobs. "Mrs. Whitmore, I'm Eli Porter. I work at the same law office as your friend Roger. Your husband hired me to represent him in the divorce. I probably shouldn't be calling, but Roger convinced me to give you the update. I was contacted by the Pittsburgh police. They were responding to a robbery. The man involved had a head injury, his wallet and keys were stolen. He was taken to the ER and immediately rushed into surgery. Doctors had to induce a coma to ease pressure on his brain. All he had on him was a motel room key, which led them back to your husband, Derek Whitmore. In his room, they found a copy of the divorce agreement. That's how they traced it back to me. Derek gave me clear instructions to handle everything about the divorce so he wouldn't have to deal with you personally. I've also been instructed to deny you access to him while he's in the hospital. Your daughters are allowed to visit, but all access decisions go through me." "What? He's my husband. You can't keep me from seeing him," Lori cried. "I'm really sorry, ma'am, but the directive he signed gives me full authority over both the divorce and his medical care. If you want to challenge this, you'll need to hire your own attorney right away." "Isn't the divorce paused now that he's in a coma?" she asked. "No, ma'am. He gave me strict instructions to move forward no matter what. I doubt he saw this injury coming, though. So, everything he did, insurance, bank accounts, beneficiaries, that's all still in place?" "Yes, ma'am. As far as I can tell, nothing has changed. And I have no reason to think he wants to undo any of it." "But he's unconscious," she snapped. "He can't change anything now." "I understand this is hard to hear," Eli said. "But I'm just following the plan your husband laid out." Lori choked out her final words. "I didn't cheat. I didn't leave him. I tricked him into thinking I had a date, and when I came back to tell him it was a stupid joke, he was already gone. He must have tossed his phone just to make sure I couldn't call and tell him it was all a joke. There was no real reason for a divorce, no actual betrayal, nothing to justify the way he reacted. I'm not trying to be disrespectful, the lawyer said, but that's your side of things. I have clear, written instructions from Mr. Whitmore, and I have to follow them. I hate to break this to you, but tomorrow you'll be served at your workplace, just like he requested. Once you get a lawyer, have them call me and we can talk about next steps. I don't care what papers he filed, Lori snapped. He's still my husband. If I want to see him, I will. Oh, right, one more thing, the lawyer added. That envelope will include a restraining order. You're required to stay at least 200 meters away from him. He also added a note to the petition saying he wants you to be free to pursue the man you really want. Lori set the girls down and told them what the lawyer had said. None of them could wrap their heads around it, it was too much. Still, Lori made up her mind she was going to the hospital. The girls didn't fight her on it. They agreed to go with her. But when they got there, it was no use. The hospital hadn't received a copy of the restraining order yet, but it didn't matter. No visitors were allowed anyway, COVID restrictions were back in effect. Once Derek got moved to the ICU, they explained visitors would be allowed, but only one person at a time and only for 10 minutes every 2 hours. The three of them went home frustrated and helpless. By the time Derek was transferred to the ICU, the restraining order had come through. Only one of the daughters could go in. Lori had to stay away. But even the visit didn't mean much. Derek was still out cold, and if he heard anything they said, there was no way to tell. Days later, the mountain search and rescue team finally located the crashed truck. They believed the man who'd robbed Derek had been the one behind the wheel. Derek's wallet turned up in the wreckage, but several $100 from the $5,000 he was carrying were missing. They also found a few bottles of high-end Pennsylvania bourbon, one of them more than halfway gone. As time passed, Lori's financial situation got tight. Derek had forgotten to move his paycheck into the joint account, the one used for the mortgage and regular bills. She ended up hiring a lawyer who filed paperwork asking the court to give her access to half of what was left in that account. Eventually, the doctors decided it was time to bring Derek out of the medically induced coma. When he came to, he couldn't remember who he was. The diagnosis? Temporary amnesia. Emma, one of the twins, brought photos and stories to try and jog his memory. Nothing worked. He didn't even recognize Eli, the lawyer he'd given power of attorney to. In that condition, they said he wasn't mentally capable of lifting the restraining order. When the doctors gave him a memory test, Derek quickly figured out what was going on and decided to play along. They told him his daughters wanted to see him. Mila, the first to visit, stepped in. "Do I know you?" he asked. "Dad, it's me, Mila. One of your daughters," she said softly. "You were attacked and ended up in a coma. We've all been waiting for you to wake up." "We?" he asked. "Yeah, me, Emma, and Mom. Your wife." "I have a wife?" "Yes." "Why isn't she here?" "She's not allowed. There's a restraining order. You two had a misunderstanding." "My God, did she hurt me?" "No, Dad. She'd never hurt you. You were just really mad at her." "Why?" "She faked going on a date with another guy. She meant it as a prank to shake you out of a funk. But you left before she could explain. You started divorce proceedings and everything just snowballed from there." "How do I know she didn't really go out with him?" he asked. "She says she didn't. But you just said she told me she was going on a date." "Yes, but it was part of the prank." "So she lied and now she says she didn't lie?" he asked, narrowing his eyes. "Even if I don't remember her, I'm not stupid. I must have had a good reason to protect myself." "Sorry, miss," the nurse interrupted. "Your 10 minutes are up." 2 hours later, Emma walked in for her turn. "Didn't we already talk?" Derek asked. "No, that was Mila. I'm Emma, her twin. You don't recognize me?" "I'm sorry, not yet. You're both very beautiful young women." "Were we close?" "I mean, before all this." "Yeah," she nodded. "Mom, too. She just pulled a prank and then you were attacked before she could come clean. You've got to stop this divorce, Dad. I don't even know who you are. Or who she is." "I don't know anything right now," he said, defeated. "If I do have a wife, I don't think I should make any big decisions until my memory comes back." "Do I have a lawyer?" "You actually have two. One for general stuff, one for the divorce. You authorized the divorce lawyer to move forward. Maybe talking to him would help," Derek said. "Can you call him?" "Ask him to visit me." "Of course. If it helps you remember, I'll do anything," Emma said. "Dad, can you let Mom come see you?" "She's breaking," she said gently. "Not being able to talk to you, it's killing her. I don't think I'd feel safe around her. Maybe later." A while later, a man in a suit stepped into the room. "Mr. Whitmore, I'm Eli Porter, your family law attorney." Do you remember me? Is everything we say confidential? Derek asked, looking him in the eye. Absolutely. Good, Derek said, his expression shifting. I don't have amnesia. I'm trying to figure out what to do about the divorce. The last thing I remember I told Eli was instructing you to give her enough so she could move on without me. That's correct, he said. She's been served and has a lawyer now. Do you want me to cancel the divorce agreement and put things on hold? No. Keep everything moving, I said. But I do want you to look into her so-called non-date. Find out what really happened. I can get a private investigator on it if you give me the go-ahead. You've got it, I said. I kept pretending the amnesia was real. Still played nice with the girls. Listened to their stories. Let them beg. But I wouldn't let up. Wouldn't let Lori back in. I needed that report. A few days later, the investigators' findings came in. There's not enough proof to say whether she actually went on the date or not, Eli told me. The guy she was with swears nothing happened, but he's married, so it's possible he's just covering his ass. In the end, it's up to you whether you believe her. I figured as much, I sighed. Thanks. It's time I regained my memory then. Keep the divorce going. The first name I said out loud was Mila's. She froze when I said it. Not long after, I told her that more memories were coming back, including that night. The night Lori either betrayed me or played a sick joke, depending on how you look at it. I agreed to see her. There were tears, hugs, and awkward silence. Then Lori started talking. Derek, it was a joke, a really bad one. I just wanted to shake things up, make you care again. Roger and I just circled the block, that's all. We weren't gone 10 minutes. But when we came back, you were already gone. And I'm supposed to believe that? I asked. You can ask Roger, she said. He helped me plan it. Oh, right? So I'm supposed to trust the guy you pretended to cheat on me with to tell me you didn't cheat on me. That's real convincing. I tried calling you, she said, her voice trembling. You left your phone behind. I waited up all night. Was anyone there with you? Roger stayed for a couple hours and left. He can confirm that. I waited to hear from you until the next day, she continued. When I called your office, that's when I found out you'd gone nuclear. It was like you couldn't wait to erase me from your life. Why wouldn't I? I shot back. You looked me in the eyes and told me you were about to go on a date with another man. Right there in our house. I was gutted. But I loved you. So if that's what you wanted, I was gonna give it to you fast. No dragging it out. I never planned to cheat on you, she said. I never even left the neighborhood. I just wanted to wake you up. Make you fight for me again. I thought maybe, just maybe, you'd start to care. Well, you picked the worst way imaginable. I said, voice flat. Even if what you're saying is true, which I still doubt, it was cruel. Mean. I'm not sure I want to stay married to someone who'd do that. For now, I'm sticking with the divorce. When I'm out of here, I'm moving into my own place. That's just a waste of money, Lori pleaded. You have a home, a bed. I'll move into another room if that's what it takes to win you back. Visiting hours are over, I told the nurse. I want to see my daughters. Lori was escorted out. The girls tried to defend their mom, but they couldn't say how long she and Roger were really out that night. So their words didn't mean much to me. When I was released, I didn't go home. I moved into an apartment close to work, just like I said I would. The divorce kept moving forward. Then Lori's lawyer requested something unexpected, mandatory counseling. 12 sessions. I didn't object. I showed up. Lori spoke first. I love my husband deeply, she said. We had a good marriage. We raised 2 beautiful girls together. I think the empty nest hit him harder than it did me. I tried to fill that hole by spending more time with him. Not just being around, but doing things, trying to reconnect. But he pulled away from the marriage. Our sex life didn't change at all, she added. Even after the girls moved out, we still acted like we had to plan it around them, like they were still in the next room. Nothing about that changed for Derek. I wanted to do something drastic to get his attention, Lori said. So I convinced a guy I work with to help me with what I called shock therapy. One night, I pretended I was going on a date with him. We just drove around the block so I could come back and tell Derek it was a joke. Just something to jolt him into caring about us again. But by the time we got back, barely 10 minutes later, Derek was already gone. I waited all night, hoping he'd come back. The next day, I called his office and found out he'd already started divorce proceedings. A few days after that, I found out he'd been attacked and put in a coma. When he finally woke up, He didn't believe it had all been a joke. He thought I was serious about dating other men. And ever since then, he's been determined to divorce me. I know it was a terrible idea, and I regret every part of it. I'm begging him to give me a second chance. The counselor turned to me. Derek, can you give us your summary of how you remember things? She's not wrong, I said. But she left out a few important details. When that guy showed up at my front door, she looked me in the eyes and said she was going out with him, whether I liked it or not. Then she said she hoped they'd end up spending the night together. That wasn't some light-hearted prank. That was a knife to the gut. In that moment, I knew our marriage was done. I figured it had to be my fault. Maybe I'd failed her somehow. So I left. I didn't want to drag things out. I wanted her to have the guy she wanted, and I wanted to start over. I handed off everything to a lawyer. I didn't want to think about Lori anymore. I didn't even want to hear her name. I planned to give her a fair divorce and just disappear from her life. I didn't see the robbery coming. Didn't think I'd end up in a damn coma. When I woke up, I didn't even know my own name. And honestly, part of me wishes I never remembered what happened that night. Lori says she didn't go on the date. But there's no proof. I don't know if she changed her story to save face or to protect herself financially. Now she wants me to believe it was just a prank, and that she wants me back. Even if she's telling the truth, she's still the kind of wife who'd pull a stunt like that. One designed to humiliate me. And what then? Every time I walk through the front door, I'm supposed to wonder if I'm coming home to a loving wife or someone else's date. It'd be cleaner to just end this. Let her be with Roger, and I'll move on with my life. It felt like we were at a total standstill, until Lori brought Roger to one of our counseling sessions. Derek, Roger said, I need to apologize. Lori promised me this was harmless. I had doubts the second she got in my car. But I swear to you, we didn't go anywhere. We circled the block once and came right back. When we saw you were gone, she panicked. We found your phone in the bedroom. That's how we realized you'd left it behind. I stayed with her a while. Mostly she just cried and kept saying how badly we'd messed up. Eventually, I left. I'm really sorry. Do you believe me now? Lori asked, her voice barely above a whisper. He sounds sincere, I admitted. Or he's just a really good actor. Derek, I don't know what else I can do to prove it to you, she said. It was a mistake, a cruel, stupid prank. I swear I'll never pull something like that again. Can't you just trust me? Let me get this straight, I said. You told me you were going to spend the night with Roger. Then you say it never happened. Now you're telling me you were lying back then but telling the truth now. And you expect me to believe you won't do something like this again. I don't know where the lies stop and the truth begins, Lori. If we're ever going to be a couple again, it's going to come down to one thing, trust. If you can't trust me, I'll agree to the divorce, she said. The counselor stepped in. Here's a suggestion. What if you two sign a postnuptial agreement? It could say that if Lori ever does anything like this again, you get everything in the divorce. No negotiations. Would you sign that, Lori? Yes, she said quickly. Absolutely. What about you, Derek? I paused. Thought it over. Yeah, I said. I think I could try that. Lori walked over and hugged me. Slowly, cautiously, I started to reintegrate back into the marriage. It wasn't easy, but it was a start. It took a long time before Lori and I shared a bed again. Things were fragile for a while. Every word felt like it could either rebuild something or tear it all down. But over time, we found our rhythm again. We started going out more. Took on little house projects together. Visited the girls. Even did some traveling. Our sex life, oddly enough, picked up more alive than it had been before the whole mess. Lori started to relax. The tension at home eased. We were finally beginning to feel like a real couple again. Then one night, I called her on the way home and told her not to bother making dinner. Got plans for us, I said, but had to hang up before she could ask anything. She figured it was something related to work. I'd mentioned that things were shifting around at the office since the merger. Maybe she thought I got promoted. When I got home, I barely said a word, just went straight upstairs. I'm getting changed for tonight, I called out as I headed to the bedroom. Not long after, the doorbell rang. Lori opened the door and there stood a woman, maybe 10 years younger than us, dressed sharp, polished, and undeniably attractive. Can I help you? Lori asked. I'm here for Derek. We have plans tonight, the woman said with a pleasant smile. Right then, something must have snapped in Lori's mind. That old memory she'd been trying so hard to bury came rushing back. She thought I was getting back at her with a little revenge date of my own. And instead of blowing up, she got an idea. She invited the woman inside. "You have a beautiful home, Mrs. Whitmore," the woman said politely. "Thank you," Lori replied, holding her composure. "Excuse me a moment, I'll let Derek know you're here." Then she called up the stairs. "Derek, your companion is here." I think I mumbled something like, "I'll be right down," but it was hard to hear. By the time I came downstairs, Lori was standing in the living room with her arms around the woman's throat. Not choking her hard, but enough to raise hell. "You husband-stealing tramp," Lori growled, tightening her grip. The woman started to struggle, clearly panicked. "Lori!" I shouted, racing down the stairs. "What the hell are you doing?" "Let go of her." Lori let out a wild laugh. "Gotcha this time. Caught you trying to pull a prank, huh?" "A prank? Lori, are you out of your mind?" I snapped. "This is Vanessa Matthews, my new supervisor from the merger." "Vanessa," I said, turning to her, "I'm so sorry. I have no idea what got into her." Vanessa just stared at me deadpan. "I like to think my employees are sane both on and off the clock," she said coldly. "If this is what you consider normal, you can forget your new position. I'll be in the car. You can drive me back to the hotel. Don't make me regret this further." She stormed out. I turned to Lori. "Thanks a lot. Just when I thought we were back on track, you've destroyed everything again. My job. Maybe even what was left of our marriage." I didn't wait for her to answer. I just grabbed my keys and followed Vanessa out. Upstairs, Lori collapsed on the bed in tears. "What is happening? What have I done?" she kept asking herself. About 15 minutes later, we came back. I called up to her. "Lori, come down here. We need to talk." Turns out it was a prank. Vanessa and I had planned the whole thing together. A little role reversal. I thought maybe it would bring some closure. Maybe even a laugh. Instead, Lori had flipped. When she realized it was just a joke, she broke down sobbing, clinging to me, apologizing over and over. We ended up going out for dinner and drinks, just like I'd planned. Over time, she even started laughing along with us. Vanessa admitted she was freaked out for a second but said it was kind of worth it in the end. When we finally got home, Lori went into the kitchen to tidy up a bit before bed. I headed upstairs. But the moment I walked into the bedroom, I froze. There, on Lori's nightstand, was my automatic pistol. It had been locked up in the safe. Always. I picked it up. Loaded. One in the chamber. Safety off. My heart dropped like a stone.